Hey, Vicki St. James here with my dear, beautiful guest, Baylee Frisch. Baylee is a dedicated art therapist and artist, combining her expertise in both the creative and the psychological fields to help. Love art too, right? Absolutely. So let's talk about her celebrated degrees. She holds a BA in studio art with an emphasis in sculpture and psychology from the University of Northern Iowa, as well as a master's degree in art therapy and clinical counseling from Adler Graduate School. Baylee specializes in working with senior and dementia populations, utilizing art therapy to support emotional expression, cognitive engagement, and overall well being. Her own artistic practice is deeply informed by her therapeutic work, blending art therapy techniques with a diverse range of materials. Passionate about exploring texture, movement, and the beauty of the human experience. Nature, recycled materials and traditional art supplies into her mixed media creations. Wow. Her work frequently integrates humor, yes, reflecting her belief that laughter is an essential part of healing and connection. Amen to that. In addition to her professional endeavors, Baylee is the primary caregiver, along with her husband Wilson, to her 94-year-old grandmother. Aw, whom she recently nominated for the Wish of a Lifetime program, a branch of AARP. Through this initiative, the older adults are granted the opportunity to fulfill their dreams and experience moments of joy. Bailey's grandma, a lifelong horse lover, had the dream. So, grandma was a lifelong horse lover, and she had that dream of traveling to Arizona to see American paint horses, a goal they joyfully achieved in November of 2024. This experience not only brought fulfillment to her grandmother, but also underscored Bailey's ongoing commitment to fostering meaningful connections and enriching the lives of others. Welcome to the show, Bailey.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. It's so wonderful to have you here. So tell me, what do you like best about being an art therapist?
Oh gosh. I think I love getting to just meet people where they're at and help them build that confidence in their creativity, but also finding their voice in it too.
Oh, yes, finding their voice. Do you have any childhood stories that are fun that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah. So I can share about the. Is it okay to share what we shared on the
Uh
episode? Okay,
huh.
cool.
Yes.
So, growing up, I would spend a lot of the time at my grandparents' house, and my grandparents both grew up during the Great Depression time frame. So, they would save and repurpose all kinds of things, and they would encourage me to use things that others would perceive as junk,
I
but
love that.
turning it into art and my little mini sculptures.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so exciting. I love that so much. So, when did you first know that you wanted to work in the art industry?
I always loved being creative, but I didn't know that I could combine it with helping people. So I was just going to go straight into therapy and counseling. But then in high school, my art teacher, Jolene Fitzmurderchamp, she told me about art therapy. And I realized, like, wait, I can combine these two things? And I knew that that is what I wanted to do from that moment.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Oh, the power of a great mentor.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. So tell me, let's go way back. Do you have any fun childhood stories?
Yeah, I think stuff that I would do kind of growing up that would always be silly. My dad, he would love to make like these little treasure hunts for us.
Ooh.
So he would kind of
Wow.
hide things and like notes all over the house, and we would have to go to one and then figure out where to go next. Almost like a scavenger hunt, but then there'd be some kind of treasure at the end that we would find. So that would always be really fun to do.
How fun is that? I love it. So playful. Ah, I love that. Okay, so tell me, do you have any cool spring plans?
I will be working on a mural, hopefully starting that in March.
A mural. Very cool. I love that. And where is it going to be?
It is through a company in Shell Rock called Zimpro, and they make minerals for animals, a lot of like farm animals, but also domestic animals and aquatic animals too.
Okay, so tell us what this mural will look like.
we will be doing, I say we, it's just me.
Yeah.
But it'll be a farmscape with all kinds of animals. So we've got dogs, cows, pigs, cats, horses. Like, I think there's llamas in my sketches too.
Ooh, I love that.
Fish in there, yeah.
Yes. Oh, how exciting. So, who do you count among your greatest influences in art?
Oh, greatest influences are, I mean, for sure my grandma, because of her fostering that creativity in me in such a young age.
Yes.
But I also had a lot of influence by my high school art teacher, Jolene Pitzenberger Timber, PT.
Yes.
And then in my master's program, Erin Rafferty-Berger, that she was a huge influence in my art therapy realm too. Yeah,
Oh,
great mentor.
Oh, how beautiful. Props to them all. That's so lovely. Okay, so do you have a bucket list? And if so, what is on that list?
I do have a bucket list. It needs to be updated because I have been able to cross a couple things off now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, some of the things on there that I haven't quite done yet is building a tree house.
Ooh.
And I've got the right husband for that. So
there
that's
you go.
good.
I love that.
Yeah, otherwise I think like owning a horse is on there, but I don't know if I want that anymore. I think I do, but not anytime soon. And then goats. I love goats with a passion.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. The last I heard, and I don't know if this was 6 months ago, Joan Baez, the singer, who was Bob Dylan's in love of his life, I think, for the most part. She was living in a tree house at that time, 6 months ago. I know the last time I took a plane ride, there was, the materials to read, and I read all about her life. And she said, my whole life I've wanted to live in a tree, and I decided this is the time to do it. Isn't that cool?
That is really cool. I know on Airbnbs you can find like tree houses all over that you can rent and stay in.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's something that I want to do. I have a couple
Same.
of my saved like vacations right
Oh my
now.
gosh. Yes. I love that so much. That's really cool. Well, I'm sure you have to sign a waiver that if you sleepwalk and you get hurt, right? It's on you.
I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, that would pose as a scary concern.
Yeah, that would be a scary concern. But you know what? Live life as a risk taker and you'll be happier for it.
Yeah.
That's kind of my philosophy. All right. So, do you have any pet peeves, Baylee? And if so, what are they?
Yeah, so I have a lot of like sensory issue kind of stuff that goes on. So certain sounds, like my husband biting his nails, which I think he does on purpose sometimes.
That's funny.
That or my dogs licking, like that sound of them just like licking.
Of course.
It'll be right when you're trying to sleep too. And then you just hear like the intense licking.
Yes, the licking.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I mean, like, God bless him. Yesterday, my colleague was chewing an apple, and in the cubicle next to me, and I kept doing this, and then I'm like, oh, I can't take this anymore. And like, the poor guy's just nourishing himself. Why do we get like that? I don't even know, but it's a sensory thing.
Yeah.
You're teaching me. All
different
right.
sounds and then different textures, like textures for eating or touching. Sometimes it's like, ugh.
Oh, like what has a weird texture? Like what?
Well, textures for eating, I've tried shrimp on many occasions, and I'm just like, I can't get past it. No.
That's funny.
Yeah. And
Oh my God.
certain fabric, like the feel of it, I'm like, I don't want it on my skin.
No, I love soft fabrics, and so does my son Josh. And it's just a thing with us. It's if it doesn't feel good, we're not going to wear it.
Yeah.
No.
Are you the type of person that just like touches all the blankets that you see in the store, or like clothing that looks soft? Because I am that person.
Okay, I'm not that person, but I love to look at them. And then my colleague said, don't think I'm weird, but whenever you wear that beautiful sweater, I just have to touch you. It's just like, it just looks so soft. So I get that, but I'm more like, I just love to look at all the blankets and be fulfilled.
Maybe that's why I migrated towards like the creative field.
Yeah, there you go. Especially with sculpture, you're really touching it. Yes.
The cool thing about sculptures is like the artist pretty much has to touch like every every inch of that in order to
Yes.
shape it and create it.
Right.
And there's something so beautiful and intimate about getting to do that with your work.
Yes.
I really love that aspect
Oh
of it.
my gosh, I love that so much. So we both have BAs in art, but my emphasis is drawing, and that's a lot simpler. It doesn't take the full body engagement.
You
But
get a workout.
I mean, right? I'm just so impressed by that. And who would you count among your art professors that you really enjoyed over at UNI?
I mean, we talked about Dan Perry on the radio show.
Dan Perry.
And then Tom over here too. Both of them were so great.
So amazing. Did you ever have the opportunity and the pleasure of having Erin Wilson?
Is she?
It's a gentleman.
Yes. Okay. I think I didn't have him directly, but I was in the building and like had a lot of close interactions with him.
He is amazing. Just to be in his space is incredible. And I don't know if you knew this fun little fact is that his wife Dawn owns Cup of Joe on Main Street. Yeah. And so, occasionally he'll put his artwork up there. There's always a gallery show in there, whether, it's like a student or it's a citizen of the community that hasn't shown for a while or maybe ever. They give the artist that opportunity to show. And I think that's so beautiful. So, all right, let's talk about what do you like most about being an art therapist?
I really love just getting to meet people where they're at and help them along their creative journey and finding what their preferred mediums are, but also their voice. And since I've specialized a lot with dementia population, voice is really important because sometimes with aphasia, where like the words aren't always coming out, it might be hard for them to express themselves or connect with others. So creating that safe space and allowing them the opportunity to use a voice in a different way that might not be as verbal.
Oh, how beautiful. I love that. Have you ever met or heard of Kevin Dill? Kevin Dill is just an amazing young man who's been stricken with Lewy body dementia. And his art, he'll come to social media with the newest painting.
You'll have to look him up.
Yes. And there's, I don't know if you golf at all or if you know someone who golfs, but here in 4 months will be the Kevin Dill annual golf tournament to raise awareness for dementia. So he's amazing. And he always says that the best time of his day is creating. So thank you for all you do in that realm to help others who, like you said, what is the word when they can't find
aphasia?
Aphasia. If they have aphasia, they can't express themselves, but they can in art. Oh, so beautiful. Thank you for all that you do. So when did you first know that you wanted to be an art therapist?
So growing up, I always loved being creative, and my grandma helped foster that, but I didn't know that I could combine that with helping people. So I was just going to go the route of helping and doing therapy and counseling. But then in high school, my art teacher, Jolene Pitzenberger-Tim, she's the one that like told me about art therapy, and I knew that was it, that I could find them, and that's what I wanted. I love it.
Your art instructor is so dear to your heart. And what was her name again?
Jolene Pitzenberger-Tim, for PT.
Okay, PT. Is she still teaching?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
So I graduated from high school in like 2015, so that was like 10 years ago.
Yes, right. Time flies.
In like the West Delaware.
Okay.
School
Got you.
Manchester.
Okay. Oh, by Manchester. Cool. So are you familiar with the radio station KMCH? Yay. That's one of our family stations.
Awesome.
Yes. My boss owns that one. That was one of the first ones. So yeah, very cool. What a small world. I didn't know you were from that area. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So tell us, what do you have for a career-related endeavor?
Great question. So some of the things that I'm working on right now, since we kind of moved from Minnesota and migrated back to the Waterloo, Cedar Falls area, I've been getting plugged in with some assisted living facilities, and right now I'm volunteering at one through Western Home.
Oh, cool. Yay. We love Western Home.
Yeah. And then teaching some art classes as well. But ideally, I would love to have a facility where I am able to work and specialize with my dementia population.
Yes, and own that business?
Yeah, and I say it hesitantly because I know that some of the behind the scenes stuff isn't always my strength. But
Okay.
that's where partnerships can come really
Yes,
in
of
handy.
course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How exciting is that? A goal-driven, female-empowered woman. I love it.
Something else that's kind of been in the works too. I know that you know Jalen Jones.
Jalen
too.
Jones,
Yes.
author, musician extraordinaire. Yes,
And
Jalen.
I've been partnering with him, and we're working on establishing a creative hub for other artists to just kind
Really?
of have an outlet, but also teach other people so we can connect with the community too.
Oh, I love that.
So
That is
that's
so
on
cool.
our docket.
Yes. Well, keep me posted on that. I would love to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And I finally found someone who has longer hair than I
We
do.
gotta, like, pull it all the way
It's
up.
gorgeous. It's so beautiful.
It's a little ratty right now, but there's
Oh
a
my
lot of it back
gosh.
here too.
It's gorgeous. How long does it take to do your hair?
Oh gosh. So I switched hairbrushes, which has been helpful.
Uh-huh.
Because before it would take anywhere from half an hour to an hour to brush before washing, depending on how tangled it got and if I tried new styles.
Oh,
But now it's down to like 10 to 15 minutes to brush through it.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Otherwise, braiding it after showering and sleeping in like a bonnet or a braid helps
Okay.
to minimize some of the tangles with the natural wavy.
Yes, the natural wavy.
Yeah.
And it looks so healthy. What is your secret to healthy hair?
I've never dyed my hair.
Ooh.
So that's probably one of my biggest secrets.
Got you.
I don't use a lot of heat on it. So
Okay, natural then. Just let it dry. Wow.
I used to get made fun of for my hair, actually. I was bullied a little bit growing up.
No.
My hair used to be shorter. I've had it cut before. It's been growing for about almost 16 years now since I've cut it, like cut it instead of a trim.
Oh.
But since it was shorter, when I would brush it, it would just poof. And I would get like the triangular kind of.
Oh, baby
poof.
girl.
And yeah, I didn't know how to tame it, but now I've kind of embraced the naturalness of it. And it's heavy, so the weight of it.
Yes. There you go. Well, I was a victim of bullying too, so I understand what that's like. But then again, people say it must have broke you. No, actually, it made me stronger. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, every now and then there might be some insecurities that pop out, and I'm like, whoa, where's this coming from?
Right.
Oh, okay. And then it's like, we got to work on that.
Yes.
But it's definitely a lot of things that I've learned and embraced and have
it's beautiful,
used
honey.
as strengths now.
Yes, that's so beautiful, so inspirational. So if someone out there is experiencing this bullying, and it happens at all ages, it can happen in your workplace. It can just happen anywhere. Just be strong. Know that you are not that person. You're better than that, right?
And I would say, even if it feels like you aren't going to get support or help by telling another person that's like higher up, or somebody that's like a teacher or a boss or HR, like, it still feels good to talk about it with somebody. And even if it's not getting the results that you need, sometimes that just means finding a different work environment if that's not the right fit, or finding that community. And sometimes it's an online community if you don't have access to it in person.
Right.
And then finding your own creative outlets, whether that's baking and cooking or music or creating sculptures or painting, whatever it is. Just
whatever it is.
Writing, something to kind of express and release that so it's not just eating you up.
Absolutely. Yes. Express it, get it out. And more than anything, I think, love yourself. Just love yourself. You are the number one, and you know your true value, and just embrace it. Yes. Okay, so tell me, let's go back in time. Fun childhood stories.
I mean, we pull them out of the vault.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh gosh, I don't know if this was fun for my sisters.
That's all right.
I've got two sisters, one older and one younger.
Okay.
And I know that we would play a lot of games out in our pool. And I know
fun.
My little sister didn't like this quite as much, but we would play like the typical, we're mermaids or whatever it is.
Yes, of course.
And I had a couple friends over one time, And oh gosh, this is probably like middle school,
Okay.
but we were getting rid of our like playground in the back of our yard. And my little sister had socks that she needed to get out of there. And my older sister and I were like, we're not doing it for you. You need to go and get them. Long story short, she slipped and fell. But we were like, you're just being dramatic. You're fine. She broke her arm.
Oh,
She broke her arm.
no, the poor babe.
Needless to say, my parents were not happy with my older sister and me.
Right?
But it was fun playing in the pool up until that point.
Oh, of course it was. Aw. Oh my gosh. So 2 sisters.
Yeah.
Any
one
brothers?
brother. Nope.
Okay, just, oh, wow.
Yeah.
The
3 girls.
female energy in that house.
Yeah, and even my whole dad's side of the family, actually, we have like all kinds of women. Like we have,
Ooh.
so it's kind of a spread out thing, but all of my cousins for the most part are women.
Okay.
Or we've got like a few that are part of like the LGBTQIA plus and like non-binary.
Yeah.
And then we have like maybe a couple boys, but like it's dominated female.
Wow.
And then my older sister has 5 kids, but they're all boys.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like
That's
skipping
funny.
certain generations. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is too funny. I love it. Okay. So bucket list plans?
Yeah. So other than building a tree house at some point.
Yeah.
Other than that one, I think something else that I had on there was to build my own cookbook.
Oh, really? You like to cook?
I like to experiment.
Okay. Very cool.
I can follow recipes okay, but I like to be creative. And so that's why I say cookbook and not like baking, because that's more of a science.
Yes, it is a science. Yeah.
But I've kind of experimented and fine-tuned a handful of recipes that I really enjoy.
Wow.
And then my husband, he's a phenomenal cook too.
Ooh.
So every now and then we'll both kind of tinker around in the kitchen, and it'd be kind of fun to have like an actual book that is just full of the ones that were successful, not the ones that were a little rough.
Aw, that's so cute. And I can edit it for you.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
I would love to. That sounds so exciting. And maybe you could take some pictures of like your mural and put it in the book.
Yeah, that'd be really neat.
Oh, that would be so beautiful.
I also want to do like a workbook for working with dementia and population for art therapy.
Oh, that's a great idea. Any goals on when those might be ready, available?
I need to like set a deadline for that one so that I start it.
Yes.
I feel like I could do that within this year of 2025, get it started and established.
That's beautiful. I love that so much. Well, keep us posted on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us, where can the listener and viewer find you on social media and the web?
Great question. So I do have a website, and I can share that stuff with you too.
Thank you.
But otherwise, my social media is all under the name Bees Art Hive, so B''S.
Okay.
And I am on TikTok, Instagram, and then I have a Facebook page as well.
Okay, so capital B, or it doesn't matter, lowercase b, it doesn't matter.
Most of it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, so just the letter B, ''S, and what's the other part?
Art Hive.
Art Hive. Is that like all one word, the Art Hive?
Yeah, and if you space it, it should still pop up. You'll see probably my long hair as a dead giveaway that it's the right account.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bees Art Hive. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And you think that when do you think the mural will be completed for our viewers who'd like to go see it?
So I am hoping that we can start it in March. They have to prep the space for me before I go in.
Yes.
And with it being like a 20-foot wall and I'm the only person working on it,
yeah,
my goal would be to try to knock it out within like a month time span.
Oh my, I was thinking like Christmas.
Oh no, I'm like, if I hyperfixate and focus on my projects.
Good.
And with my work kind of being flexible, like am volunteering and then doing art classes in the evening.
of
So like
course.
it's pretty flexible, and it'd be nice to just kind of knock it out.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. And, just to backtrack to what you said about night classes, you're teaching at the Waterloo Center for the Arts, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you're teaching a weaving class.
I am, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so my background in sculpture means that sometimes I don't always do things in the most traditional way in my art.
Yay.
And I think with the art therapy background too, a lot of it is about process over product for me.
Got you.
However, when I fall in love with the process, I end up also loving my product or learning what I can do to make that process into something that gives me a good product.
Oh.
And so with my weaving, I am showing just kind of the basic fundamentals of how to weave, but how to weave with different materials too.
Ooh,
So
yay.
we've got yarn, we have fabric. We will be using recycled materials as well, and then nature. I love doing nature weaving. It's so fun.
Nature weaving, tell me about that.
Yeah, so it is as easy as it sounds. Finding different nature outside that you can just kind of bend.
Oh, how cool is that?
So I've done a lot of suspended ones for nature weaving, where I have branches and then I'll tie it to like a tree or something.
Oh, wow.
And then I will scavenge and forage for all kinds of materials. So I've used flowers, I've used corn husks, just anything that I can find. We have like a backyard where we're going to plant more stuff this year, but otherwise we'll go to my mom's house or my husband's grandma. She lives out in the country up in Minnesota.
Ah, nice.
So we have access to a lot of good materials when I can go visit in warm weather.
Yes, in warm weather. And it's coming. Yes, we're getting closer to it. I love that. And you got to believe that your grandma, with going through the Great Depression, really, really did take shape in your mind. Like, how can I utilize something from nature and just make it into a beautiful piece of art?
Yeah. There's a big part of that I'm definitely is important to me, but something else that made that feel even more meaningful, I got to interview an art therapist who was working at the Tanager place in Cedar Rapids.
Ooh,
and this would have been like 11 years ago, maybe.
Wow.
It's been a good bit. But she showed me how they have this dollhouse inside. And each kiddo that comes gets to create something out of repurposed and recycled material.
How beautiful.
And then it goes in the dollhouse. And it's showing that things that other people might view as like garbage or useless or having no meaning or purpose, it's giving it that purpose and giving it a home.
Oh, I love that.
So that was a huge inspiration for me.
Yes.
But also something with the art therapy aspect is you can find so many fun textures.
Yes.
And with an art therapy model that I use called the Expressive Therapies Continuum, there's 3 tiers, and the lower one starts out with like kinesthetic and sensory based stuff.
Got you.
And then you work your way up sometimes. But with those 2 like elements, I find a lot of that being met in those kinds of materials. And when working with dementia population, sometimes there can be a lot of fear around art because there can be art trauma. Maybe you did not have a good experience.
Yes, of course.
But if you're using materials that are familiar to you, then it doesn't feel as scary. And using them in non-traditional ways too breaks away some of that like stigma around how you should be using it. We get ourselves in trouble with our shoulds.
Yes,
we call it shoulding on ourselves.
That's pretty good.
Terrible, but yeah.
Can I borrow that? I love it.
Yeah. So we don't want to should on ourselves.
No, don't should on yourself. I love it.
Yeah. And then if you're working with people too, I did a lot of community-based mental health services. Like I was working in that field for a while.
Nice.
And not everybody has access. So finding things that people do have access to and showing them what they can do with it and not feeling as limited or like they aren't able to create because they can't buy the new pastels or they can't buy like the name brand paints and colored pencils. Yeah.
Right. Oh, how beautiful. So Bees Art Hive, right?
Mhm.
And any closing thoughts?
I guess my closing thoughts would just be to find your outlet, find your community and find your outlet. And if you are finding that you don't have a community, is there a way that you can help create one?
Ooh, I love that. Create your own community. There you go. That's beautiful. Oh gosh, it's been such a pleasure, Baylee, to have you here. You have taught our audience so much, inspired so many. Thank you.
Well,
And
thanks for having
oh,
me.
my pleasure. I cannot wait to see this mural. Keep us posted.
I will. I will be
Yes.
posting videos of the process
Right.
on my socials as well. So if you're curious about the process,
There
that'll
you
be a
go.
good way to stay connected with it.
Yes. All right, sweetheart. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.